Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to the videos of the paid requests, this time for Psycho Hobo. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos or topics, reactions, commentaries, or have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for the 1954 film Animal Farm, which is based on the book. Although I believe some changes, especially the ending, were changed from the book to the movie. Now, the plot of the movie is that there's a farm. You have chickens, cows, horse, donkey, other pigs. The only ones we hear talking are the pigs. And their leader is this guy, Old Major, who's been around for a while. And he tells about how we're feeling oppressed, and the humans will just take your eggs to the chickens, and you know what they do to us pigs. And says you need to stick up for yourselves. He passes away. The animals are sad about that, but then they also gives them the gumption to finally overtake the farm from Mr. Jones, this guy who's a harsh drunk and throws bottles and such. So they overthrow the tyrant. They run the guy off. But now the new leaders are pigs like Napoleon and Snowball, which again, none of the other animals we hear talk. We just hear those two talk, or other pigs talk, and then there's a bit of narration as well throughout the film. And they have these commandments: all animals are equal to each other. No animal shall harm another animal. No animal should sleep in a human bed. No animal should consume alcohol. But then the pigs, absolute power corrupts absolutely. They start feeling the rush of power, and they become the oppressors. And for 1954, it is a serious story. I mean, there are animals that get killed. It's not gory or bloody or anything of that ilk. But as the laws get more twisted, Napoleon raises these puppies into not armed, but to killer dogs, to be his guards and do his bidding. There's a point where the humans try to take back the farm. There's a battle that happens, and some of the animals get killed during that. But you don't see blood or anything. It's just, it'll be like aftermath, and you see that the dog, a dog is dead or something. Or at one point, Napoleon feels that these animals are traitors, these chickens and one lamb and one duck, and they're taken by the dogs, and it cuts away to like a crow watching. You hear them getting killed, and the crow turns away. So a lot of inferred stuff in that. And I know the whole thing, like the book, is supposed to be a take on communism. And to be honest, the movie is what it was and was what it is. It's more, I appreciate it more than I liked it. It's funny, I thought I had seen this, but I got confused with Charlotte's Web. Two very different things. And the book, I don't know if we ever read the book. I know a lot of schools read it in classes. It's supposed to be that the pigs are supposed to be living by the ideals of communism, and you realize the faults of that and everything in between. But the making of the film, apparently this film was secretly funded by the CIA. At first I'm thinking, what, did Steven Seagal work for them as well? But no, apparently this is the case. And it was to help combat communism. I mean, where's the fucking movie on that? The CIA looked at Animal Farm and this animated film, and where's the story on that? Like that, I'm surprised there hasn't been a movie made on that backstory. But also the ending was changed because, spoiler alert, in the ending of the book, well, I'll say the ending of the movie is they're rebuilding after the fight, and this windmill just blown up. And Mr. Jones pretty much, I just kills himself doing that. There's rebuilding. The pigs get fatter and greedier. Botcher the horse gets hurt, and he's sent out to the glue factory. He's in the wagon, and there's like a death symbol behind, and the animals, the donkey knows what it is. The Botcher's trying to get out. He gets driven away, and you get the idea he's been killed off. The rules get more tainted. All animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. Animals will not harm an animal unless for good cause. In the movie, from what I understand, the book, the pigs and the humans are working together. And there's the line, I can't tell who's the pig and who's the human anymore, because they're the same thing now. But it felt like it was a bit more of a downer in the book, where all more and more farms are now adapting to this, where you have the oppressors and you have the people, in this case the animals. In the book, in the movie, sorry, in the movie, the donkeys look at the pigs as they're having their meeting, and there's the idea that maybe this will get bigger on other farms, just being successful here. But the donkey sees the pig morph into a human. He has to shake his head, and there's, again, to show the idea that they're the same oppressors as they had before. A bunch of the animals have gathered, and they attack. And you don't really see much in the attack, which I did as 1954 animated film, but I thought that was kind of disappointing for the ending. Once again, it's inferred, where they break into the house. The pig kind of shakes a bit and then falls to the ground, and then there's a picture on the wall. Someone throws it, the picture breaks, but you don't really see anything. That's the point. It's they're not going to show fucking animals being torn apart in 1954 cartoon, but I guess because I've seen many films after the fact that have been a bit more serious takes, and they go a bit more further. They go a bit more adult. They go a bit more dark. They get a bit more graphic. So this whole thing kind of felt mundane to me. But I appreciate what it was trying to do. I appreciate what it was showcasing. And that's what I mean. It's more I appreciate it and its place in history more than... I would never see the film again. It's not like a fun narrative. Character-wise, the other animals, like I say, they don't talk, except the pig. So, like I say, as a typical animated film, I just say I like maybe Boxer the horse and the donkey just because they were getting fucked over. You felt bad for them. I appreciate seriousness of the story because there's animals that kill. Hell, the dogs even, they take a cat and they just fucking wrangle and it falls dead. No blood, but it just, I don't know what the fuck the cat did to deserve it, but they just kill it. They were just hanging around doing nothing. The animation, it felt a little bit rough for 1954. But maybe because it didn't have the budget like a Disney movie, so it's not as glamorous of, Snow White, Cinderella, those type of films, Peter Pan. So it felt a little bit rough around the edges, but it was serviceable animation-wise. It's a fairly short film, so it's not over-indulgent or overstaying its welcome. For instance, some people were upset that the ending changed, but I get the idea. Number one, the CIA wanted to combat communism and find a way that there's a way to beat it and overcome it. And also, it's like, well, we want to send people home a bit happy and not so much of a downer, which I can understand that as well. So, Animal Farm, like I said, it has an interesting place in history. Like I said, the making of it sounds so much more fascinating to me than the movie I saw. And I don't think it's a bad movie. I don't think it's a bad movie at all. It's just I can't really say I found it very entertaining, if that makes sense. And I just want to repeat 10 times more. I appreciate it more than I was entertained by it. Now, if you wonder what I'm doing with the phone, is I'm trying to start it off to try to get more of this backstory, because I didn't write it down and I should have. Just again, I thought this was pretty interesting. That's why I'm surprised, or I don't know if there is some documentary, or if maybe there is a film based on the making of this. Let me type it up. It is on Tubi, has a 7.2 on IMDb. Of course, the story is by George Orwell, who did 1984. And I'm going to look up the production. After George Orwell's death in 1950, his widow Sonia sold the film rights to Animal Farm to film executives. Unbeknownst to her, they were actually undercover agents for the CIA, which was funding anti-communist art for E. Howard Hunt's psychological warfare workshop. And they chose the March of Time newsreel producer Louis de Rochemont and his production company as a front organization for the film's production. Tubi were chosen as the film's directors because their work on documentaries produced by the Marshall Plan and the British Ministry of Information. The CIA distributed American animators and illustrators due to the Red Scare and the Hollywood blacklist. The two directors hired John F. Reed, the only American in the production, as animation director from the Walt Disney Studio. Despite their background, the crew kept unaware that the film had been initiated and funded by the CIA. One guy acting on behalf of the CIA had the film rewritten from the original novel's plot to end with the other animals successfully revolting against the pigs. The CIA investors were allegedly initially greatly concerned, say that 10 times fast, that Snowball, one of the pigs, was presented too sympathetically in an early script treatment, and implied that he was intelligent, dynamic, courageous. A memo declared that Snowball must be presented as a fanatic intellectual whose plans, if carried through, would have led to disaster no less complete than under Napoleon. And these changes were implemented. The film took 15 years to recover its budget but earned profits in the next 5 years. It was released on Super 8 film in 1970s. American VHS releases were produced by Media Home Entertainment, Vestron Video, Avid Video, Wham, USA Entertainment, and Burbank Video. It was a double feature DVD with Fire and Ice. Universal Pictures released the film on DVD in the UK in 2003. In 2004, Home Video Entertainment released a special edition DVD, including a documentary hosted by Tony Robinson. Okay. One of that documentary talks about the CIA. I was assuming this information got out there somewhere, so. A 60th anniversary Blu-ray was released in 2014 by Network Distributing in the UK only. So, Maurice Denham provided the voice for all the animals in the film. And Maurice Denham, who passed away in 2002, other stuff he had done, The Ship Captain, Oh, that's the 40s. Let's see, what else has he done? He's done a lot of stuff, but nothing that really comes to mind that I recognize. A lot of titles I don't recognize, so. Yeah. Okay. I love that the poster on here says, "You'll laugh and cry a little at the antics of the animals on Animal Farm." You'll laugh and cry a little. I don't. I think there's a lot more crying than laughing. Yeah, I think that's the bullshit meter. Did you hear that bell? Beep. That's the bullshit meter. It's like, this poster is bullshit. You'll laugh and cry a little. I'm like, you'll cry and laugh a little. And I didn't really laugh. I didn't really think anything was funny in the movie. I don't even know which parts was meant to be funny. Because it starts off with this old mean drunk and we need to take it over, and then the old hog dies, old major, and then they're taking over and fighting the farmer, and then they're rebuilding. Maybe a little bit in the rebuilding, there's like this cute little duck baby, which I don't know what happens to him. Like, I don't know if they show what happens to them later. And maybe that's the thing about this film is that, while it was fun enough to watch, there's really no characters in a way. I mean, there are characters, but you never get to know about Boxer. You never get to know about the donkey, and I forget his name. Benjamin, maybe? I forget. Because they give no voice, really no personality. There's no, it's just, they're kind of just there, and it's more about what it represents more than. And I get that, and I say it's just, maybe it's just not the most appealing. And apparently the rooster agrees. He didn't feel representation. That's why the rooster's pissed. He wanted to be represented, but he wasn't. It was more the chickens than the rooster, so that, I guess he's got a fair point. So it's just one of those where it just, I don't know what else to say. That's why I'm bumbling, fumbling over words. I'm just trying to think of something else to say, and it's hard to talk about. It just, I wish there were like stronger characters for that part of the narrative. Like if I guess in the novel, the other characters, I didn't read the novel, to be fair. But I guess like if the others had their own voice and mannerisms, and if we could hear through their thought process of what was going on instead of just their narrator, if we could hear their point of view and get some good voice acting in there, that would be nice to hear. That'd be nice to be showcased. Because when you don't have that, then they just feel a bit empty and kind of just there to serve the theme. Because barely a plot. They take over the farm, pigs become the humans and the other oppressors. And some animals get fucked up. So again, visually, I didn't think it was fantastic looking. I thought, again, serviceable. Yeah. It was there. It was okay. At the end of the day, I thought it was there. It was okay. I would never see it again. But if they did a little bit of the making of like a movie based on that, I'd be more intrigued with that. So, with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you later. Bye bye.